Real Boxing. We're here with Sugar Shane Mosley. Shane, how you doing today? You okay?
I'm doing great.
Okay, Shane, first things first, welcome to London. I wanted to ask you about last week's fight, Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson.
Oh.
We did notice on Twitter that you were getting quite emotional. You're talking about crying and everything. What is your opinion on that fight? And
I was having some fun. I was just having fun on Twitter with some of the boxing fans. You know, I just believe that when you see a great fight like that, you want to see the win, lose, or draw. It was a great fight for both guys, but you want to see the winner be the winner. You know, especially when it's that far. You know, despair. I mean, it's so far that you see that Lamont clearly won.
A lot of people were saying that Lamont wasn't really boxing. He was doing a lot of running in the first few rounds of the fight. Do you think that that's accurate or inaccurate? That's
baloney. That's baloney. He was boxing them, and he showed the people that I'll say right there and fight for fight. He did that for several rounds, chasing Garcia around the ring. He boxed him. He showed he had boxing skills. He was using his jab. He did everything a fighter is supposed to do, and didn't get rewarded at the end.
Now we've got Al Heyman, PBC. How do you think that affects the landscape of boxing on a wider scale? You've got it back on terrestrial television. Do you think that is a big level of promotion for all these fighters because they're not really known to the wider public apart from Mayweather, PACQUIAO? Do you feel like Keith Thurman, these Adrian Broner, these sort of larger-than-life personalities are getting a bigger?
I sure hope so. I sure hope that it helps the fighters. People get a chance to recognize the fighter individually, so we can have more fight fans. I mean, you know, like you said, Mayweather, PACQUIAO, even myself, I can come back and I can fight. You know, you have Marquez, and you have, you got Ricky Hat. I mean, all these guys that we had, we were built up on TV or on HBO or whatever. Now they're like, who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next? Who is the next? Like we don't know. And there's a lot of great fighters, young fighters out there. That's why I love to come and spar with young guys and just see, you know, just how great they are. So yeah, I can come back and say, wow, that guy is something. He's really good. And not. When you well, for us, for me, when I spar, I'm not the type that tries to kill anybody. I like to learn. I like to teach and learn. Some fighters go out there. Now when you get ready for a fight, you get to find somebody that's big enough or whatever that can actually take the punishment and can give you punishment back because you're fighting.
Teaches you what your limits are.
Teaches you what your limits are. But when you're not fighting, you go in there and you see different things. You learn. Oh, that's a good move. I'm like, let me try that. Let me try this. You know, you find things that you want to try, and you know, I love doing that. So so when I come to a new town, whether they're 106 pounds or they're 175 pounds, I'm getting in the ring with them. And I believe I can take care of myself. It doesn't matter who it is.
Now, obviously, you're in the UK. The biggest UK clash that could be made is Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, IBF welterweight champion. Why do you think that fight isn't getting made right now? And what do you think the thinking is behind the process of this?
I think that the thinking is probably just business. You know, people want to fight the right fights. I think that Amir Khan believes he's probably a lot bigger than Kell Brooks as far as fan base around the world. Whereas, and he wants to get the fight with Mayweather. Kell Brooks wants to get into the mainstream and wants to be able to fight. He'll fight Amir Khan. He'll fight this one, that one. He'll fight everybody because he wants to build his profile. He wants to get where Amir Khan's at. And Amir Khan's like, well, right now I'm not ready to fight you. I can fight you. I'm not afraid of you. I'll fight you. But fighting you.
You can wait.
You can. It's going backwards, and you're gonna mess with, you know, my chances because it's talks with Mayweather or this one, that whoever that's big. And you mess with the money, the business part. So I don't think it's anything. Yeah. I don't think it's anything against Kell.
The ring, yeah.
And getting in the ring and them fighting. I just think that side, isn't it? Yeah. Financial and just the career side of it is a business, and you can't just, you know, I guess fight any and everybody. Yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of do that. I'll go and fight anybody.
Yeah.
When I was
risk and reward.
I would risk. I'd be like, you know what? I can beat everybody. I'm going to fight you, and you. But it doesn't go like that nowadays. It's a little different. So
a lot more money involved, isn't it?
there's more money. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask about one of your previous opponents, Miguel Cotto. He signed with Jay-Z's Rock Nation Sports for $50 million. Yeah, it's crazy, about yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great for him. I'm happy that he got a chance to sign for that type of money. I mean, he's been rewarded for all the great fights that he gives, the world, Puerto Rico, especially. So, I mean, it's a good on. Best luck. I mean, he's a hard worker. He trains hard. He fights good, and I like Cotto. I think he's a great guy, man.
Cotto has always been, lauded as a warrior. You get him in the ring with anyone, risk. But have you seen who he's announced as his next opponent? Have you heard?
I haven't heard who his next one is.
It's Daniel Gill, the guy that he got knocked out by Golovkin. No disrespect to Daniel Gill. He's a former unified WBA and IBF middleweight champion.
I was actually sparring with him when I was in Australia, when I was getting ready for the fight at the Medine. And Daniel Gill is actually a good fighter. He doesn't have much.
The name value is
he has decent punching power. Decent punching power for his size. But he's a good fighter. He can do very well. He can do very well with Miguel Cotto. But then again, Cotto fighting really 160, and it's going to be very hard for Daniel Gill. But it should be an interesting fight. I mean, I actually like Daniel Gill.
It's at a catch weight of 157, so we'll have to see how it goes. But in terms of Golovkin, Canelo, he's got a lot of options at that weight class.
That's going to be real good. That'd be a very good fight, Golovkin and Canelo, because Canelo is a good defensive fighter. He can move and he can throw punches, and I think that can be a very exciting fight. I like to see that fight, Golovkin and Canelo. I like to see Golovkin and Cotto. I mean, there's some good fights there at 160. Wow, some good fights. We touched on Canelo, so you fought Canelo in 2012, Pacquiao in 2011, Mayweather in 2010, yeah? Do you think Canelo is one of the biggest stars in the future? Being so young, I believe that he could be one of the big stars in the future. I mean, he has all the boxing mental ability. He fell a little short Mayweather because he underestimated. He tried to box with him. Yeah. No, he didn't even try to box. He tried to be flat-footed. He thought he was going to punch Mayweather off, and he could never catch him. And Canelo working in my gym, I told his coach, I was like, well, you can't fight Mayweather. I mean, I fought him. You can't fight him flat-footed like this. You're not going to be able to catch up to him. And the type of sparring that you have it doesn't equate to Mayweather at all. Like it's nothing like him. I actually jumped in the ring with Canelo. I had to jump in one time and spar with him just to show him where he was at. You gave him that experience, didn't you? I get to show him where he was at that point, and then to pick up your level. Yeah, of course. But they just believe, I'm bigger than Mayweather. He's small. He's a little guy. People underestimate that. Yeah. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. It matters how you move, how you throw, how you use it. So. So that's what happened. So he kind of got a little bit embarrassed because he wasn't prepared properly. Yeah. So finally, we're literally 2 weeks away from Mayweather versus Pacquiao, May 2nd, MGM Grand. You've been in the ring with both men at literally 1 year apart. In your honest opinion, I know you've been asked 100 times, but that's part of the business. Yeah. Who do you think is winning this fight, and by what margin? I tend to think Mayweather's going to win this fight by a large margin, and that's only because of. When Marquez fought Pacquiao, he was able to catch him with the big right hand. I know that Marquez is not really a right hand puncher. He's really a left hook and left uppercut puncher, and he was able to catch with the right hand. Mayweather, he loves the right hand. That's how he does. Jumped into that hand as well. But didn't help. Jumped into it. Weight was going into it. Yeah. And you have to give Marquez a lot of credit because he fought him 4 times. Yeah. And then when you fight somebody over and over and over again, you find different weaknesses and different things to try to. Because Pacquiao was actually winning the fight before that happened. Yeah, smashing him in that round. Yeah. Who's your prediction for May 2nd, Mayweather Pacquiao? My prediction, I think Mayweather has the edge. I think he's going to win the fight. I wouldn't be surprised like if Manny Pacquiao catches him with a straight left and maybe knocks him down or something like that. But I think that Mayweather has a lot of ways of getting away from Pacquiao, and he can stay away, and he can touch if he needs to, not by really bouncing, but just kind of like just move from side to side. So I think Mayweather. Thank you for talking to Be Real Boxing, Shane. Appreciate it. This is Shane Mosley, and you're watching Be Real Boxing.